Okay. All right, YouTube folks. So it's still complaining that I need to change my video resolution. The current resolution is 2560 by 1440, which is not supported for this configuration. The expected video resolution is 2560 by 1440. So I don't quite know how to fix that specific requirement because the expected resolution is the resolution that I am outputting from OBS Studio. Um, I don't know. I don't know. We're a couple of minutes early, but that's in part because I've been uh, actively troubleshooting and trying to make this thing work. And I know that you're not looking at me at the moment, and that's because I'm doing a number of things with various machines in a room, and I'm not sitting in a desk where a camera is pointed. So it kind of doesn't make sense for you to look at an empty chair. So I'm going to have you look at a black screen. And let's see here. I think. No, that's not right. That's not what we want at all. Um, let's see. Let's escape. And let's go home. Okay. That's more better. Yep. All right. Okay, so that machine is behaving, and we are live streaming. We're about a minute before we normally would start the live stream, so you got a little extra time to hang out with me today. Hold on a second, I got a little cough coming up here. One of these days, I'll work out a mute button that I can access from where I'm at. Okay, so let's see. Is this on? All right, so lots of stuff going on here. Let me make a little adjustment here. Why does that look like I'm falling over? There. Okay, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think that's just the way it's going to be tonight. Let's see, and we also have another angle, and that needs a little tweak. Edge. Oh, that's worse. I don't know how much of that we're going to use tonight, but it's available if there is a reason to go to it. Okay, and then let me check and see if. Oh man! Oh wait, maybe we're okay. Okay, so looks like the log is there. And let's see, what is my tactical unit number? It's usually that. And I'm at Studio B in Woodstock. Okay, so yeah, all that looks like it ought to look. Okay. All right then. So I think we're in pretty good shape tonight. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that error. It makes me nervous seeing it up there, and it makes me suspect that YouTube is going to give me issues tonight. So a little bit of research that I've done with the issues that we've had with YouTube suggests that A, I need to use a different version of OBS Studio than I'm using, um, which really kind of bums me out because you know, this is a technology that I don't know that well, and now I have to learn another version of it.
WRKL 249 5. I'll be standing by monitoring.
All right. Okay, so hopefully the radio audio level is right on YouTube. It's a little low in here. And that's going to be, well, it should be good. Based on what I see on the faders, it should be good. So anyway, as I was saying, I may have to learn how to use another version of a video broadcasting, open-sourced video broadcasting service. So if that's the case, that's a little disappointing. I like what I'm using, but apparently YouTube doesn't, and we need what I'm using to be able to get along with YouTube. Several have suggested that I switch to a streaming service called Twitch, and the only hesitancy I have with that is that YouTube is a pretty widely known platform, and I think that if we go to something like Twitch, we wouldn't get many people to follow us. So I don't know that people would find us there. But I suppose we could direct them there from our website and from Facebook, and maybe make it happen that way. If I knew of a way to simultaneously stream to both platforms, see, I see buffering going on from my GUI into YouTube, and if it's buffering here, it has to be buffering on your end. I'm highly disappointed in this, and I suspect that we may have issues tonight. In fact, it looks like I'm frozen at the moment. So OBS shows that I'm moving and everything is good, but I don't know. It looks like the connection is just not good. We are recording, so I may be able to go in later and upload this video from a recorded file through OBS Studio. Generally, I don't record, but I'm going to make that record this evening. So I think the stream has crashed. I think that it's done. I don't think we're going to get anything tonight. That's a bummer. We're 30 seconds from going on the air. Let me see if I have a script. Let's see what we're going to talk about tonight. Oh, man. Long-winded net controllers. Let's see. Where is my... I don't know. Okay. Tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know. Hey, it's time. In fact, we're past time. Okay, that's what happens when you get to looking at Facebook and trying to find a post that you put up a couple days ago and is buried underneath mountains of stuff. Here we go. Good evening, and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. I'll be working off of the Pine Log repeater this evening, but we are linked in with the following repeaters: Pine Log, Lookout Mountain, Sassafras, Somerville, Crawford, McDonough, Zebulon, Moreland, Noonan, Jersey, and I don't know if I believe this to be the truth, but it says the Madison repeater is linked in, as well as the VoIP service. So anyone wishing to check in through our VoIP service, also known as Zello, that function is available this evening as well. Let me break. Tonight our RF coverage is approximately 31,000 square miles, but we're global with the magic of the internet and VoIP service. This net takes place every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. I'd like to thank everyone who has made the North Georgia GMRS the most expansive and active GMRS network in the country. Your net control tonight is Atlanta 946. My name is Justin. Oh, I'm also WQIR 514. My name is Justin, and I'm located in Woodstock, Georgia. On the net, you can talk about your day's activities, radio equipment, or anything you think we'd like to hear. This is a family-based network, so we encourage you to get your family involved. Once the floor is open, it is permissible to address other members of the net by their name or tactical unit number. Your FCC call sign is only required when you sign in and sign out of the net. Let me break. Sorry about that, YouTube world. At this time, we'll begin taking check-ins. We will start with VoIP check-ins, so anyone wishing to check in to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net through the VoIP service, please call Net Control now. Mercy. Okay.
This is 253 WQND 274, Donald from Blairsville, Georgia. Check me in, check me out.
WREC 529, Chattanooga's 58. Check me in and out.
Okay, I think I heard some RF check-ins in the mix, but we are at this time taking Zello check-ins. Zello check-ins, please call Net Control now. Okay. Maybe Donald is the only one we have.
This is 253 WQND 274, Donald from Blairsville, Georgia. Check me in, check me out.
Okay, Donald, I'll acknowledge Atlanta 253. Donald in Blairsville, got you in the log as in and out. Thank you very much for checking in with us this evening. I also have Chattanooga 58, Bill in Chattanooga. Thank you, Bill, for checking in with us this evening. Good to hear from you. I've got you in log as in and out. I think that's all we're going to have for Zello check-ins at this time, so let's go ahead and move on to any visiting, transient, licensed GMRS operators or new members of the North Georgia GMRS network. This is anyone who has a GMRS license but is not a member and would like to check in, or any new members, and also any youth members 18 and under. Please call Net Control now.
This is.
Wow, I think we're going to have a tough evening tonight. I believe I heard Atlanta 136 in there, Aiden from Tucker, but he got covered up right away with some noise, and several check-ins that I heard attempted to come in, but I wasn't able to parse enough out of any of those signals to make out anything, and I'm not even sure that that was 136. So, one at a time, folks, please. I know it's difficult to know if you're keying on top of someone, but if you'll start off with "this is" and release the key, wait a moment, and if the airwaves are still clear, go ahead with your transmission. And also, if you hear someone say "this is," please wait for them to finish checking in before you make your check-in. So let's try that one more time. Any visiting transient licensed GMRS operators or new members to North Georgia GMRS or any guests as well as youth check-ins, please call Net Control now.
This is Atlanta 136, WRCR 229, Aiden in Tucker.
Okay, Net Control is going to go ahead and acknowledge Atlanta 136, Aiden in Tucker. Aiden, thank you for that perfect example. Appreciate that. We've got you in log. Looking forward to hearing from you this evening. And we heard a check-in attempt following Aiden, but I wasn't able to copy that. Does anyone have a relay on that check-in, or do you want to try that one more time? Love to get you here in log.
Working the Zebulon repeater on the side, monitoring.
Okay. I heard someone talking today about weird RF conditions, and I'm going to have to say that this is definitely something that we're experiencing now. I'm hearing bits and pieces here and there. I believe I heard a WQYU 924, and I think that was associated with Doug. But Doug, I don't know where you are, and I don't know if you have a TAC number, and it's okay if you don't. But I've got you in the log, Doug, and we'll definitely be calling out to you as we go. So we're fine with that. I also heard someone trying to check in from Zebulon, and what I heard was fairly clean signal, but I didn't hear all of it. So the Zebulon check-in, if you would please come back.
Check in again. This is Bob. WRJL 249.
Okay, I believe I heard Bob, WRJL 249. I've got you here in a log, and we'll definitely be coming back to you. Having a tough time hearing you, so be patient with me this evening. But like I say, I think we have some weird RF conditions out there, and I don't know that tonight is a good night for qualifying anybody's station. I think it's just something we're going to have to contend with for the evening. So I know that there are other new member check-ins and guests out there, and I can't hear you. So I'm going to break one more time and see if we can get any of those new users in here. And if we can't, we're going to go ahead and move on and hope that we can hear you next week. But let me break one more time for new users and guests, and let's see what we get.
Yes.
Out 366. Checking in, checking out.
Yes. Atlanta 490, WRHY 406, Bob in Marietta.
Okay, I heard 2 stations out of that. I know there were more than 2 that that were trying to check in, but 2 is all I got. And the first one that I got, all I heard was 367, 367. And I heard you say that you were in and out. So we have you in the log. We don't know who you are. I don't know if 367 is a TAC number or if that's part of your call sign, but we've got you in the log. And if you want to try to come back, that's fine. But if you're satisfied with that, I'm okay too. And next I have, I heard 490, Bob in Marietta. So Bob, if that was your TAC number, then that's where I have it listed. If that was part of your call sign, then you might want to come back. Your signal, by the way, Bob, is fantastic. I hear you loud and clear. And I heard you go ahead and try the "this is," and when you came off the key, there was other traffic, and I heard you wait for them. I appreciate that very much. But you've got an excellent signal, Bob. So if you want to come in now and clarify your check-in, I'd appreciate that.
This is Atlanta 490, WRHY 406. Over.
Perfect. Okay, Bob, Atlanta 490, we've got you in the log, and we'll come back around to you here in a little bit. All right, tough evening for check-ins, but we're going to get through it. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and take Pine Log check-ins. So anyone wishing to check in on the Pine Log repeater, please call net control now.
This is
Wow, that's loud.
550. WRJN 906, Steve in Talking Rock. Atlanta 32 in Springfield, Missouri. Chris, checking in and out. WQQD 705.
This is Atlanta 555, Dave in Marietta, checking in.
This is Atlanta 912, WQXN 735, checking in. Alfonso from Marietta.
This is Atlanta 442, WRAH210, Craig and Ackworth. Go ahead and check me in and out tonight. I'm fighting COVID. Found out about it yesterday. Y'all have a good net tonight. Good evening. This is ATL 454, WRJY 438, Daniel and Canyon. Checking in, checking out.
All right. Yikes. Break the camera in more ways than one. Okay. All right. We've got a pretty good run right there. Let me break and acknowledge what we have. First, I have Atlanta 550, Steve in Talking Rock. Thank you for checking in with us this evening, Steve. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. Next, I have Atlanta 32, Chris in Springfield, Missouri. Chris, thank you for checking in with us tonight. I've got you in the log as in and out, and hope that you're doing well out there on the highways and byways, delivering the goods that make America move. Thank you for that, Chris, and we'll talk with you again soon. Next I have Atlanta 555, Dave in Marietta. Dave, you sound fantastic this evening. Looking forward to talking with you. And I have Atlanta 1, I'm sorry, I'm looking right at it. It's not a 1, it's a 9. Atlanta 912, Alfonso in Marietta. Alfonso, you sound terrific tonight as well. Looking forward to talking with you. Next I have Atlanta 442, Craig in Ackworth. Craig is going to be in and out tonight fighting COVID. Hope that you put up a good fight and beat it quickly and are back to good health in short order. And be well out there, my friend. Next I have Atlanta 454, Daniel in Canton. Daniel, I have you as in and out this evening. Thank you for checking in with us. Looking forward to hearing from you again very soon. That's where I'm at this point. Do I have any additional Pine Log check-ins before we move on?
This is Justin, I think 180 checked in. There was a double there. This is Atlanta 299, Steve in Roswell. You guys have a great night tonight. I'm going to have to be in and out tonight.
This is Atlanta 57, WQZC 882, Andrew in Holly Springs. Going to be a short time in and out this evening, but we'll be monitoring.
Okay, I'll go ahead and acknowledge what we have here. We have Atlanta 299. Steve in Roswell. Steve is in and out with us this evening, but thank you, Steve, for checking in. It's great to hear from you. Hope all is well. And we have Atlanta 57, Andrew in Holly Springs. Andrew is also short time this evening. I'll get you in a log as in and out, and I hope you have a fantastic time this evening. Looking forward to hearing of your adventures from Club 215 real soon. And also by relay from McDonough 22, we have Atlanta 180 Mike in Cherry Log checking in from the Cereal Bowl. Looking forward to hearing from you, Mike. So we'll catch up with you here real soon. And that brings me to, we're going to go ahead and open up check-ins from any repeater anywhere. So anyone wishing to check in to the North Georgia GMRS from Pine Log or from any repeater anywhere, including new members, guests, and youth members, please feel free to call Net Control now.
This is WREJ 789, Noonan 45. They call me EJ. This is Brandon, Noonan 74, WRKI 724. Check me in and out, please.
McDonough 22, WRCR 952, Tillman Stockbridge. Good evening, everyone.
This is Atlanta 295, WRFN 658, Scott in Dallas. Good evening. This is WRAT 241, Atlanta 403, Bobby in White Camp. U924, formerly Atlanta 869 on the recheck. Chuck from Jason, Georgia.
and I am mobile at Lake Lanier, in and out and monitoring.
Atlanta 180, WRBT 591. Mike from the Cereal Bowl in Cherry Log.
This is it. Zero, Atlanta 26. Checking in via VoIP this evening.
This is Atlanta 414, WRJR 877, Matt from Kennesaw.
This is Atlanta 780, WQUV 439, Houston and Austell. Check me in and out, please, tonight, Justin.
I'm 172 WRSW 610. I'm not sure if I checked in a while ago with all the traffic, but I'm checking in now. Good evening to everyone. I'm out.
Okay, Net Control is going to go ahead and take a little break right there. And I want to acknowledge we did get Atlanta 180 Mike from the Cereal Bowl of Cherry Log. Mike, we've got you in here. McDonough 22 relayed you in earlier, but so we've got you in a log. Just one time, I think that's enough. Next, I have Noonan 49 EJ checking in with us this evening. I assume that you're in Noonan. And that brings me to the next check-in. And while I was trying to sort things out, I believe I heard Brandon check in, but I missed his tactical unit number and where he was checking in from. So, Brandon, if you would please come back and help me fill in the log, I would appreciate that. But we've got your spot in the list. That brings me next to McDonough 22, Tim in Stockbridge. Thank you, Tim, for checking in with us this evening. Looking forward to hearing stories from you. And we have Atlanta 295, Scott in Dallas. Scott, it's great to hear from you. You sound terrific tonight. And looking forward to talking with you here in a little bit. That brings me to Atlanta 403, Bobby in White County. Great to have you in here, Bobby. Thank you for checking in with us this evening, and I'm looking forward to talking with you. And we have Atlanta, formerly Atlanta 869, Chuck from Grayson, Georgia. It's great to hear you in here again, Chuck. It's been a little bit, but looking forward to catching up and hope that all has been well with you. And we'll talk with you here in just a little bit. And that brings me next to Atlanta 26, Flip from the beautiful Druid Hills. Thank you, Flip, for checking in with us this evening. And also thanks for the help with the log tonight. You've been right there at the moments that I've been distracted, and very, very helpful. So appreciate that. Next I have, and I missed the TAC number. I'll look it up here in a little bit unless you can come back to me with it. Matt in Kennesaw. Thank you for checking with us this evening, Matt. Looking forward to talking with you. And next I have Atlanta 18. I'm sorry. I'm looking right at it. It's not a 1, it's a 7. Atlanta 780, Houston in Austell. Houston, thank you for checking in with us tonight. I've got you in the log as in and out. I hope you have a terrific evening. Looking forward to hearing from you again real soon. And also I have Atlanta 172, Greg in Bremen. Looking forward to hearing from you. Well, I'm not sure, Greg. It looks like maybe you're in and out this evening. If that's not true, just go ahead and chime in here whenever the time comes around. We'd love to hear from you as well. But thank you for checking in with us. That's the end of my list so far. I'm going to take one quick break for any additional check-ins, and then we're going to go ahead and get this thing started.
Yeah, Justin, this was Brandon, Noonan 74, WRKI 427. You can check me in and out, sir, and good evening to everybody on the net.
All right, Brandon. Well, thank you for clarifying that check-in for me. I appreciate that. Noonan 74. I've got you in log as in and out. I appreciate that. So I think we're going to go ahead and kick this thing in gear and get started. We'll move on up to the top. But before we do, a couple of things that I want to chat with all of you about. And that is, first and foremost, we're coming up in the very end, the last couple of days of the North Georgia GMRS membership drive. And this is the one time of the year that we ask for, support for the network, the fundraising that we get from the dues that our members pay during this period is what covers our costs for operation for the entire year. And very much appreciate all of the support that we've had so far this year. And I just want to make sure that folks know, if you have not yet renewed your membership, that's okay. We appreciate your past support, and thank you for that. And just want everyone to know that if you don't pay your membership and you don't reach out and let us know that you intend to remain a part of this, that your tactical unit number might get reassigned. Now, we don't go out and actively find those who haven't renewed and try to get their tactical number reassigned right away, but it could happen. So I just want you to know that if you do want to preserve that tactical unit number, you just need to simply let us know that you want to remain involved. And if you have a hardship or for whatever reason you can't pay your dues right now, you think you're going to pay them later in the year, or you need some help and you'd like for us to sponsor you, we have a number of things that we can do. But if you want to stay a part of this and you want to keep that tactical unit number, you just need to just let us know. Just send an email to Gary at nggmrs.org and tell him what's going on. It'll be handled with total discretion. He's the only one, him and you are the only ones that are going to have any awareness of that whole scenario. So whether it's a sponsored membership or whether it's a delayed payment or whatever the circumstances may be, if you want to remain involved, please reach out to us and let us know. And for everyone else who has already renewed, I just, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thanks, because this thing couldn't be sustained without the contributions that the members make. It's very expensive to operate this network, and we very much appreciate all of the sacrifice that folks have made to remain a part of this. And I know that it's been some challenging times here the last couple of years, this last year in particular, and money can be a touchy subject right now. So thanks for everyone who has contributed to this network, and especially for those who have contributed big. Holy cow, we've had some very nice contributions this year. So cool stuff. So enough of that. Thanks for all the support that you guys have given us, and let me move on to the next thing. Let's see, what is that? Okay, next thing I wanted to talk about was the Heath Kit Radio Shop is up and in operation. Some of the radios that are available at that shop are listed in the North Georgia GMRS website store. There are additional radios that come available from time to time. So if there's something in particular that you're looking for, or something magical you'd like to have, or if you have a particular need for a repeater or some other less typical thing, be sure and stop and visit the North Georgia GMRS Heath Kit Radio Shop in Noonan, Georgia, and visit with Gary and let him know what you're looking for. Reach out to him first, make an appointment. I'm not sure that the store is open with regular business hours. I think you need to make an appointment with him and let him know you're coming, that sort of thing. But we very much appreciate the support that we've gotten from the store. Just know that the proceeds that come from radios that are sold at the store also go to help support the network. So for the most part, the radios don't have very much markup. A lot of those radios are being sold for the cost of the radio plus whatever cost in parts and whatnot to bring those radios up to a good working condition and get them cleaned up and stuff. So there's not a lot of markup there. So with that in mind, it's a great way to get a good used radio that you can use as a base or a mobile, and or even some HTs. He's got a handful of HTs out there. So whatever you're looking for, that's a great place to start. And if he doesn't have what you're looking for, check back, because he may have it again in a few weeks. Currently, his inventory consists, I think, of several TK-880s. There are some, I believe it's a TK-862, a 2-channel radio. There's more there than I could even possibly remember to rattle off. So definitely check in on that. Let me break. And I think that's what I have. So we're coming up on the end of our membership drive. Next week we'll have all kinds of different things to talk about other than the membership drive. So once again, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to this network and become a member. And for those who are thinking about it, and there's probably a handful of people out there too who have their radios and are monitoring and are waiting for the FCC fees to come down. And you know what? I think that's perfectly okay. If you want to wait to become a GMRS licensee and you want to wait and activate your membership later in the year when those fees come down, that's great. Glad to have you monitoring and glad to have everyone who is listening this evening a part of the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move forward with our list. We have Atlanta 253. Donald in Blairsville. He was our first check-in this evening. He wins the prize. Donald was in and out with us this evening, so we won't be able to collect that prize, but had he stuck around, he would certainly be the winner. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to Chattanooga 58. Bill in Chattanooga. Bill is also in and out with us this evening, but thank you, Bill, for checking in. I'm glad to hear from you. And that brings me next to Atlanta 136, Aiden in Tucker. Now, Aiden has been in and out with us a bunch lately, but it looks like he's going to stick around this evening, which is fantastic because I'd like to ask Aiden to tell us something about himself that we might not know. Aiden, how you doing this evening?
Good evening, and good evening to the rest of the net. Hope everyone is staying safe and having a great Thursday so far. Yep, it occurs to me that I'm back on the net after a long, not too long, but a little bit of a oasis, if you could say. But something about that no one really knows about, something interesting. Well, I mean, I do like GMRS, which is pretty cool. That's a very tough question. But that's something that usually strikes a person. Getting into the radio hobby is always something that people are interested in. But for the main topic for tonight here, I wanted to talk about my 2 college acceptances tonight. I got accepted to Kennesaw State 2 days ago, and on the same day I got accepted into Georgia Southern, which pretty great school too, but I have my bets on Kennesaw State. But yep, that's all I have to report for tonight, and tell Julie I said hi as well.
Well, congratulations, Aiden. Kennesaw State and Georgia Southern. That's excellent. My son is a Kennesaw State graduate, and he went on and finished his master's also at Kennesaw. And so he is an accountant with Ernst & Young now, and he's enjoying that very much. So Kennesaw State is definitely a worthwhile and respected college. I think it's a growing college, and it's pretty. I'm pretty impressed with what I've seen from that school, and not only just the campus, but the quality of the education and the staff, and so that's my vote. But hey, this is your education, and I don't know anything about Georgia Southern, so I can't say if it's better or worse or bigger or smaller or closer or farther. I just don't know. So you're going to have to make that call, but it's good to have choices, and congratulations on acceptance for those two schools. I think that's great. And yeah, GMRS Radio, I would have never guessed that was something that you enjoyed. I'm being sarcastic, obviously, but appreciate that, Aiden, very much. And if you come up with something as you're sitting here listening and you want to chime in later, that would be great. So thank you for all that, Aiden, and once again, congratulations. Next, I'm going to go back to let's see. I missed his TAC number, but I have WQYU 924 Doug, and I also missed his city. So Doug might not have a TAC number; he may be a guest, and so that's great. Tell us, Doug, if you would please, if you are a member and your TAC number, and if you're not, just tell us what your location is, and tell us something else about yourself we might not know.
Doug, ACL 366. I'm in LJ. I'm a halfback, a recent halfback. I was born in upstate New York in the Syracuse area. Lived in Tampa, Florida for the last 4 years, and then we came halfway back, which is here in LJ.
Copy the halfback. I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, that's upstate New York and then Florida, and then now you're halfway back in LJ. Well, LJ isn't too far from us here. We're down here in Woodstock. Enjoy driving up there to the LJ area from time to time, and I know that we do have quite a few members in that general area, so you're in good company over that way. Half back, that's fantastic. Doug, I don't know. So I've got you in here as Atlanta 366. I don't know that I've spoken with you before. Are you a new member?
New member as of a few days ago. So I am mainly trying to and do things right, and I'm really excited to be.
Okay, you're breaking with the repeater here and there, but I understand you're a new member as of a few days ago, and you're wanting to do things right. And it sounds like you've got a pretty good station going on so far, but you were coming in and out from the repeater a little bit there. But it's great to have you in here, and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net and to the network as a whole. And I think you'll find if you monitor throughout the day, there are plenty of conversations and opportunities to exchange with people, and it can be quite fun. Today was a very entertaining day to monitor the radio. I'll say that for sure. So some great conversations took place right up to and just before the net, and just a good day on the air. A weird weather day in terms of RF conditions. I heard somebody make mention of that, and I have to double that because the fading and the signals that would come and go, and people would be on the air and sounding great one moment and hard to copy the next, and there's just no rhyme or reason for it. So that could be what's going on with your station as well. So looking forward to hearing you on the air some more and getting to know you, Doug, and welcome to the network. And half back, that's a cool way to look at it. That brings me next to, I have another one with a call sign, WRJL249 Bob in Zebulon. Bob, do you have a tactical unit number? And it's okay if you don't. And tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know, and probably plenty I don't know. Okay. All right. Not hearing any response from Bob. He may have been in and out, and I just missed that. So we're going to go ahead and figure that he is. I'm going to make that entry in the log that Bob is in and out with us this evening. And Bob, if you are wanting to make a comment, you're welcome to have an opportunity later in the program. We'll open up the floor, and that would be your cue to come back in with any comments that you'd like to make at that time. Next I have, and all I heard of the check-in was 367. I don't have a name, and I don't have a city. I don't know if 367 was part of the call sign or if that was part of a tactical unit number. So, but that I also heard during that check-in, in and out. So whoever you are out there, have a great evening. Thank you for checking in with North Georgia GMRS. We've got you in the log, but we don't know who you are. That's okay. That's going to move me next to Atlanta 490 Bob in Marietta. Bob, are you a new member, and can you tell me something about yourself that we probably don't know?
To say thank you for having me tonight. What a pleasant group of folks I've met since my relatively short time here. So I was a guest for a couple of months in the fall last year, and then sought membership right around the turn of the year. Once I wanted to understand that my rig would actually make it to the repeaters. Since you know nothing of me, I can't say anything, right? So one of the things I thought about just sharing is, so I'm a father of 4 adult kids, married for 36 years, and one of the funnest things we do together as a married couple is ride bicycles. And about 15 years ago, we bought a tandem bicycle, and what a blast we've had on that. Probably logged, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 miles a year prior to last year on it. We just go all over the place on it. It's a total blast. You can talk effortlessly while you're traveling, which is something that's hard to do on a normal bike. And we've really learned a lot about each other and how to do marriage better on the bike. Over.
I got to tell you, Bob, that does sound like a lot of fun. A tandem bicycle. You know, that reminds me of a friend of ours, a couple, married couple, been married for a long time, from back in Fort Wayne, and their adventures in the canoe. And you know, as you know, in paddling a canoe, it takes a certain amount of coordination, you know, between one another, and learning one another, learning what one another are going to do in any given situation, and navigating in a channel or on a lake in a canoe. You know, it's maybe not all that intuitive until you've got experience, and then once you've got experience with that person, then the canoeing becomes, like you say, effortless. Communication is effortless, and they're able to navigate and travel in the canoe with a lot of fun. And so they have a lot of great canoe stories, and I imagine a tandem bicycle can parallel that quite a lot. And that sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you for that, Bob. And yes, great to have you as a member, and looking forward to hearing you on the air even more now. So thank you for that, and we'll catch up with you again real soon. That brings me next to Atlanta 550, Steve in Talking Rock. Steve, I think I've talked with you before. Can you tell us something about yourself we probably don't know?
Well, I spent today in awe in looking at the new Bofang offering. It's a 120 watt handheld. It's a 40,000 mega amp hour battery, and it's a model 2021 UV10R, also called the Brain Burner.
Wow. Man, your signal is strong and loud and clear. That must be what you're talking to us on right now. That sounds like a fantastic radio, the Brain Burner. All right. Well, that's very cool. How much is the Brain Burner going for on the internet?
I only saw this in passing, and I copied it down. I put it on the blog. It'll come out sometime later. It didn't have any price. You know, it's like those 800 megahertz walkie-talkies that they got. It says it's the worldwide phone service. I'm quite sure that it's a bunch of BS. Go ahead.
A bargain at any price, I'm sure. Yes, and you know, that would be quite the deal. So, yeah, I think I've seen similar posts or pictures of fantastic radios, and that's always fun. So, very nice. Well, Steve, thank you for your contribution this evening. It's great hearing from you. I'm going to go ahead and move on now to Atlanta 32, Chris in Springfield, Missouri. Chris is in and out with us tonight, but thank you, Chris, for checking in. Glad to hear from you this evening. And that brings me next to Atlanta 555, Dave in Marietta. Dave, thanks for dropping that cable off today. Hopefully this weekend I can put that thing into service.
You're welcome, Justin. I mean, everything you do for us, small way to pay you back. As far as something you don't know about me, my hobby is competitive barbecue. Like most folks, probably on here, they like to cook outside on the back porch, and I've always done that. But in 2008, my youngest son saw a barbecue contest in Kennesaw. And he said, Dad, if you think your stuff's so good, prove it. So I went to this contest, had no idea what I was doing. I think I came in second to last place. So at that point, I started doing some research, entered the next one down at Turner Field at the TED in the parking lot, and we came in third overall. So I got hooked, and we've done it since then. I've done as many as 20 competitions in a year, and the cool thing is I get paid to do it now. Let me break. So I started out as a competitor and eventually started judging, which is an unpaid position, but it was to see what other folks were turning in and kind of bettered our game. And at one point, the organization, the Kansas City Barbecue Society, approached me and asked if I would be one of their officials to basically run contests. So they pay me and my wife to drive around the southeast and officiate the judges and make sure the teams follow the rules and sample barbecue. And that's our hobby. We've kind of grasped, my wife and I got to do, and we have a good time. So that's what we do, and we enjoy it. Back to you, Justin.
Wow, that just puts me in mind that there are all sorts of jobs that somebody's got to do it, and if it weren't for that guy that would step up and just take one for the team and do it, then it wouldn't get done. So I'm glad you're out there to do it. What a cool thing to have a life of barbecue and be able to sample countless varieties and recipes and do it in different states and places and meet different people. And man, you could probably serve as a net control operator just because of your networking capabilities within that field. So that's fantastic stuff. I'm a little bit jealous. That would be an immense amount of fun, I would think. So very cool. That's a great story, and I had no idea. That was the case. So a barbecue contest official. Cool stuff. Well, thank you, Dave, for that. I appreciate that little story. That's a lot of fun. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 912, Alfonso in Marietta. Alfonso, can you tell us something about yourself we probably don't know? Maybe talk about that YouTube channel you've got.
I was thinking of some stuff. That YouTube channel sounds pretty interesting. For a while, we've been running for a year. There's a YouTube channel me and a friend of mine have been doing called Two Alphas Talk. And basically, it's just Second Amendment and political subjects that we talk about on YouTube. It's been getting a lot of fire, not on YouTube, but Rumble itself. Mostly, I was going to say that the biggest thing that a lot of people don't know about me is that I grew 3 inches in my 40s. So that was the biggest thing in my life.
Wow, that I've never heard of that before. A growth spurt in your middle age there. That's pretty interesting. What is that attributed to? Do you have any idea?
Probably all the weight I carried for a long time, and probably stunted my growth. Come to find out, my collarbones have been out of place for a long time, so I had to get the chiropractor to fix them up with my shoulders.
No, that's interesting. So yeah, I suppose losing weight could certainly attribute to that, and I would imagine that carrying weight could wreak some havoc on the frame and be worthy of some adjustments. I've seen your YouTube channel, and it's very interesting, and you look fantastic in the videos there. So never would have guessed that you were overweight at any point along the way. But well, that's interesting stuff. Grew 3 inches in your 40s. That's I just never would have imagined such a thing could be, but pretty neat. Thank you for that, Alfonso. Appreciate your comments, and I'm going to go ahead and move on now to Atlanta 442, Craig in Ackworth. Craig is in and out with us this evening. Craig, I hope that you recover rapidly and get back into action very, very soon. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 454. Craig, I'm sorry, Atlanta 454, Daniel in Canton. Daniel is in and out with us this evening. Thank you for checking in with us this evening, Daniel. I appreciate that. And that brings me next to Atlanta 299, Steve in Roswell. Steve is also in and out with us this evening. Thank you, Steve, for checking in with us. It's great to hear from you. And that brings me to Atlanta 57, Andrew in Holly Springs, who is also in and out with us this evening. I'm getting a complex here. Nobody wants to talk to me. But maybe Mike in Cherry Log, Atlanta 180. Mike in Cherry Log, can you tell us something about yourself we probably don't know?
Been listening for the past year or so. I probably don't have any surprises left, but due to the nature of my communication and mostly the fact that my politician teleprompters aren't working, I'll mention a couple of things that I would have if we had a full schedule of events tonight. Briefly, probably already know, I'm out of the box, hillbilly, hippie detective. Those things you probably already get. Something you probably don't know is one of my passions is the study of physics. Let me take a break here. I've researched theoretical physics, probably for a good reason. My math skills are not real. They're not what they should be. So in theoretical physics, you write down a whole string of zeros, and if you put the decimal up front, it means a little bitty number. If you put the decimal at the end, it means a great big number. That's where the theoretical part of it comes in. I'll try to get out of here in less than the 2 minutes once I allotted this, but you should know I have a vivid imagination. That'll be it for the night. Back to net control.
Well, that is fantastic. The study of physics and mathematics and theoretical physics. I never would have imagined. So you are full of surprises, and just want to say thanks for the idea. This whole concept of getting to know one another a little bit better was one that you had suggested in a Facebook comment a short time back. So thank you for that, and appreciate your comments. So very enjoyable and good stuff as always. So looking forward to breakfast sometime at the cereal bowl. I'm not sure how we can make that work. We're going to have to get past this COVID age first, but one of these days we're going to have to get together and swap some stories and some fellowship. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Next on my list is Noonan 49 EJ in Noonan. EJ, can you tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know?
Sure, control. Correction, though, it's Noonan 45. Noonan 45. Yeah. I was an accredited auditor for the World Lottery Association. I audited to their security control standards, and it took me pretty much globally, which was that's a lot of people don't know about.
Accredited auditor for the World Lottery Association. Yeah, I never would have guessed. I didn't even know such a thing existed. But the World Lottery. So that's not just like the Powerball and the Mega Millions. There's lotteries apparently in other countries as well.
That's right, Nick Control. There are, in fact, England has like 5 or 6 different lotteries. In some countries, they're run by personal individuals, which is why you have the World Lottery Association. You try to keep them on the straight and narrow. Like for instance, in Belgium, it's run by a private individual, but all of their proceeds go to charity.
It's fascinating stuff. I never would have known. I never would have assumed that a private individual could run a lottery anywhere. But I suppose in less regulated countries, anything is possible, and probably could be possible here too if regulation hadn't beaten them to it. So interesting stuff, and what an interesting thing to be able to travel the world doing. That's good stuff. Thank you for that, EJ, and definitely something we didn't know. So yeah, thanks for that. So that brings me next to Noonan 74, Brandon in Noonan. Thank you for checking in with us, Brandon. I've got you in the log as in and out, but we're glad to hear from you. And that brings me next to McDonough 22. Tim in Stockbridge. Tim, can you tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know?
Good evening, Justin, and the rest of the net. I don't know that there's that much anybody doesn't know about me by now. I've been on the air here for a couple of years, and the last time we did this, I relayed the story of how I once was a NASCAR reporter for an online paid racing website with full privileges to, the pit area, the garage area, even the Sunday worship service and all that. So I got to know a good many of the drivers, and I was in pit row down there when Harvick got his victory after I was in winner's circle with Harvick after he got his victory after Dale Earnhardt died in 2001. Other than that, led a pretty boring life, although I was thinking when I was 17, I had 13 W-2 forms that year. So that means I had 13 jobs that year when I was 17 years old. And until I really settled into the painter life later on, painting and construction, pretty much did a lot of different things. So too many things to name that I did when I was a young man there, Roger.
Wow, that's 13 W-2s in 1 year. That's quite a lot. I don't know that. I mean, I've had some times where I've had 2 W-2s in a given year, but I don't think I've ever had any more than that. I think one of my kids had a handful, and by handful, I think like 4 or 5, maybe 6, but I doubt it. I remember it being an issue because he had filed his taxes, and then another W-2 came in that he had forgotten about, and so he had to go back to I think it was H&R Block. I don't remember exactly where he had his taxes done, but he had to pay them to file an amended return, and then a week later another W-2 showed up. So it just never ended. But I told him, I said, you can go ahead and have another amendment made, or you can include that W-2 in next year's taxes and file your amendment for this year when you do next year, and that'd be okay too. So that's what I think what he ended up doing. But 13 in a year, I just, wow, that was a lot. A lot of different things to do when you're 17. I think when I was 17, let's see, where would I have been? I would have still been at the chicken farm at 17 years old. Shortly thereafter, I went to work driving a cement truck when I turned 18. Yeah, 13 in a year, that's a lot. And yeah, I recall the story about the NASCAR news reporter for the online news organization. That's a fascinating story. I've got some NASCAR stories too, but I'm not going to bore you all with them this evening. But thank you for that, Tim. I appreciate that story. So you were able to pull off something we didn't know about you. Next I have Atlanta 295, Scott in Dallas. Scott, can you tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know?
Good evening, Justin, and the rest of that. My name is Scott. I'm a radioholic. It's been 14 days since my last purchase and several weeks since my Thursday therapy session. But due to COVID and quarantining, I'm able to make tonight's therapy session.
Fantastic. Yes, not only are you a radioholic, but you have several members of your family that you have dragged kicking and screaming into the radio world. And after all, that is what GMRS is about. So I appreciate you operating within the spirit of GMRS and getting your kids involved, your adult kids. And it's really cool to hear them from time to time on the air. So thank you for that. And 14 days since your last purchase. you know, day by day. It's day by day. See, when was my last purchase? It's this camera for the live stream was my last purchase, and that was this week. So I hear you. I hear you, Scott, and yeah, the radio thing, it's definitely real. Love getting my hands on a radio. It's a tough thing to go down and visit the Heathkit radio shop because there's so many of them laying there. There's radios that are in pieces that are there for donor parts and whatnot, and it's fascinating to be able to pick it up and look at the insides and look at how they're made, and it's a fascinating place to go spend some time. So, but probably not a healthy place for a radioholic to go. I don't know. You'll have to decide. But thanks again, Scott, for checking in with us tonight, and thanks for joining in on tonight's therapy session. That's fantastic. That brings me next to Atlanta, 403, Bobby in White County. Bobby, it looks like the live stream froze shortly after we got started, and I don't know. I'm thinking I don't know. The YouTube interface is suggesting that my resolution settings are incorrect. It's telling me that I'm sending it resolution settings of 2160 by 1440 when it's expecting 2160 by 1440. So somehow that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the log over here. It just kind of froze at that. It's moving like really slow or something. I don't know. But anyway, something nobody knows about me, I guess that would be, I've been all up and down the East Coast, Canada to the Florida Keys, but I've never, ever, ever been out of Eastern Standard Time. That's, one of the little things I've just never done.
Well, there's a great big world out there, and it's just there for you to go explore whenever you get around to it. And if you don't, that's okay too. I mean, I think that time travel is overrated. But I've been to 47 states and Canada, and I don't have any particular desire to go to. Well, I'll tell you, if I went to a 48th state, it would be most likely Alaska. I would love to go visit Alaska. I haven't been there. I haven't been to Hawaii. And there's one other state I haven't been to, but I've been to 47 of them and Canada. Time zones, I don't know. Time zones don't impress me as much as this crazy daylight savings time. How in the world do you save daylight? How does that even happen? I don't understand it. I just don't get the concept, and I wish it would go away, but that's another subject. But never left the time zone. All up and down the East Coast, but always in Eastern Standard Time, or daylight savings, I suppose. Thank you, Bobby, for checking in with us this evening, and appreciate your comments. That's very interesting. That brings me next to Atlanta, 869, Chuck in Grayson. Chuck, can you tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know? All right. All right, well, perhaps Chuck was in and out, and I just failed to note that in log. We're going to go ahead and make that correction in log and assume that that's the case. And Chuck, if you do have comments that you'd like to make, you're welcome to jump back in here in a few minutes when we open up the floor. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 26, Flip in the beautiful Druid Hills. Flip, can you tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know?
Did you know I was an antenna engineer?
Well, I'm learning that that is the case, and I tell you, I heard you on the air earlier today, and I thought, that's going to be a problem. But you're sounding fantastic now, almost as if you're coming through on Zello.
Yeah, well, one of these days I'm going to figure this antenna dilemma out. But what I wanted to tell you was that when I was younger, I actually was a whitewater kayak instructor and paddled a lot of big rivers here in the east as well as out west, like the Grand Canyon and all kinds of stuff. I grew up in St. Louis, as you know, so did 123. Well, he grew up in Missouri, but I grew up going canoe camping with my family, and ever since then, after college, I got into kayaking. So that's kind of how I ended up doing that. But yeah, that's something you probably didn't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had no idea that kayaking was a part of your history. And what a fascinating way to do it. I mean, it's one thing to get out there on Lake Allatoona with a kayak and buzz around the shores and try not to get run over by all the pontoon boats and the mini cigarette boats that are zipping through the lake. But whitewater rafting brings its own hazards. There probably aren't going to be very many pontoon boats out there to run over you, but I imagine there's plenty of rocks and logs and sticks and things in the water that would love to poke you and bang you and crush you. So there's a certain amount of crazy associated with that, but I imagine a lot of fun as well. I prefer to stay dry when I'm on the water and only get wet when I choose to get in the water, but I imagine there are lots of folks that get a lot of excitement out of the white water, and but I'm the guy that you're most likely going to find on the pontoon boat, and I'll probably be sitting someplace not in the pilot's chair with a drink in my hand. That's my idea of a great day on the water. But that's fantastic. Thank you for that, Flip. And yes, you are booming in here, 5x9 with your RF engineering, antenna engineering masterpiece there by way of Zello. So thank you for that. Glad to hear you on the air despite the antenna issues that you've been having, but hopefully you get that resolved. And that reminds me, I wanted to make mention on your post, and I just got distracted and busy. There's a product that I've used, and I'm trying to remember what it's called. But it's basically a silicone-based tape that you stretch it as you apply it, and it bonds to itself, especially in the sunlight. But even in the cold weather, it will still bond. So after it's been on for a few days or a week or so, you can't take it off. It is bonded, almost like rubber bonds, when it's vulcanized. So it's not so much that it's sticky in any way, but it just has this way of bonding to itself, and it makes a wonderful weather seal around coax and connectors and things. I need to order some more of it, so I'll find out exactly what it's called. I was thinking it was called F4 tape or something like that, but I'll have to go through my order history and find it and reorder it. I'll send you a link when I do, so that you can weatherproof those connections and not have to worry about water entry. I know that's why you took your antenna down, and I understand all the dynamics around that. Appreciate all of that. So hopefully you can do that. And then when you have to take it off, you cut it off with a knife. Use an X-Acto knife or something of that nature, and you can very carefully slice it without, you got to be careful that you don't slice into your jacket or your coax, and it'll peel right off pretty easily that way. But it makes a wonderful seal against the elements when it bonds to itself like that. So thank you for that, Flip. Let me break here real quick. And that's going to bring me next to WRJR877, Matt in Kennesaw. Matt, can you tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know. And you might even start with your tactical unit number, because I think that you've checked in with us before. Your audio sounded familiar when you checked in, and but I just don't recall. So if you could come back with your TAC number, I'll put that in a log. And if you don't have one and you're a guest, that's okay too. But come on back and talk with us a little bit, Matt.
Hey, Justin, and everyone else on the net, good evening. That tactical number is Atlanta 414, relatively new member, so been on less than a handful in that, so I'm glad to be on this one tonight. Something to share in terms of what folks may not know about me is that I'm also a fellow Hoosier. Justin, I was born in Indiana, just outside of Fort Wayne, Indiana. So the little town that I'm from, I don't think most people would hear from, so I always usually just say Fort Wayne, so people have some kind of reference. And then one other thing is recent accomplishment. Just this past Saturday, I passed my technician license exam and got my technician license, so I'm an official amateur radio operator. Back to you, Justin.
Well, that's fantastic. We should come back and tell us what the community is that you are from around Fort Wayne, because that is also where I'm from. I grew up in Harlan, right out there between Harlan, Indiana, and Hicksville, Ohio, out in the Amish country. We had Amish neighbors and lived out on a gravel road, and all of that's been chip and sealed now, and there's still lots of Amish out there. In fact, there are probably more Amish out there now than there were when I was a kid. But my stomping grounds were the Graybill, Leo area, Woodburn. I went to high school at Woodland High School. That's the high school that's in the middle of a cornfield, literally. It is literally in the middle of a field, and typically they plant corn even when it's soybean season. So it's part of the school system's property. It's an agricultural project, and so it's not actually a legitimate farm. It's an FAA agricultural department project for the school. But in any case, yeah, definitely come back and tell us what part of that area you're from, because Allen County is that's where I'm from.
Yeah, it's the little township is called Toxin, spelled Tocsin, and that was between Ossian to the north and Bluffton to the south.
Okay, yes, very familiar with that general area. Not so much with Toxin, but Ossian. There was the Hirely's Bakery in Ossian. I love to go there for some of their baked goods, and they didn't have the best donuts in the world, but they were good. And Bluffton was a part of the railroad territory that I maintained for a while. And one of the issues that I had in Bluffton, there was a local train crew that was all the time busting stuff. And there's a thing that's called an electric lock. And the way an electric lock works is that a train has to pull up onto a given segment of track to interrupt an overlay circuit. So the overlay is a resonant circuit that you put out on a rail, and when the wheels of the train occupy that resonant circuit, they change the resonance, and the detector will see that change in that resonant frequency, and then allow the unlock to be operated. And then they can throw the lever inside the unlock box, and then be able to operate a hand throw switch, and then be able to get in and service an industry. And the train crew would break that box over and over and over again. They broke it so many times that I got to the place where I couldn't get parts for it. So I took it out of service, and they were unable to get into that industry at all for about 2 weeks while I was waiting for a new electric lock to come in. And that turned into a big deal with transportation, and railroad police got involved and investigated, and so that particular train crew, they got in trouble. I don't think they got fired, but they got in trouble over it, and that was kind of the end of that little adventure. But yeah, Bluffton, Indiana. Lots of time in that little town as a railroad signal maintainer. Cool stuff. It's a small world. All right, Matt. Well, thank you for your comments and that little nostalgia of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and the general surrounding area. And that brings me next to Atlanta 780. Houston in Austell. Houston is in and out with us this evening, but glad to hear you on the air, Houston, and hope that you and Mona are doing well. Look forward to talking with you again soon. And that brings me next to Atlanta 172, Greg in Bremen. Greg, I've got you in the log as in and out, but I'm not sure that you really were. Greg, are you out there, and do you have something you'd like to tell us that we might not know about you? Okay, well, Greg must indeed be in and out with us this evening, so we'll go ahead and move on. And that's actually the end of my list. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and open up the floor and invite anyone who would like to make a late check-in. Please call Net Control now. So the floor is open. Anyone with additional comments, questions, or remarks, feel free to chime in. And any late check-ins, Net Control standing by.
Late check-in, Noonan 25, WRCL 957, Joe in Fayetteville. Hello, Joe.
And a late check-in for Noonan 29, WRCU 796, Marty in Tyrone. Hello, Justin, and everybody on the net that can hear me.
This is Atlanta 9.
For Chattanooga 47, WRJ 257, Chad in Chattanooga. You can go ahead and show me the in and out, though, please.
Late check-in from Atlanta 401, WRKH 620.
Okay, Net Control will acknowledge Noonan 25, Joe in Fayetteville. Thanks for checking in with us this evening, Joe. It's great to hear from you. Love to get back with you here in just a moment. And we also have Noonan 29, Marty in Tyrone. Thanks, Marty, for checking in with us. I'm looking forward to talking with you. Next on my list, I have Atlanta 911, Cassandra in Woodstock. Thank you, Cassandra, for checking in this evening. It's great to hear from you. And I also heard Chad in Chattanooga. Chad, I didn't get your chat number. If you would chime back in with that. And after we hear Chad check in, I've got the WRKH 620 Atlanta 401. I didn't get a name or a city 401. So if you would come back with that after Chad gives me his TAC number, I would appreciate that.
My tag number is Chattanooga 47. That's 47.
And this is Dave in Canton, Atlanta 401, WRKH 620.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for that, Chattanooga 47, Chad in Chattanooga, and Atlanta 401, Dave in Canton. Excellent. I've got that in a log. Do we have any additional late check-ins or any additional comments? And I'll come back to you guys here in just a moment.
But I think what you're looking for, I have, and it's called Nuke-Tape. N-U-K-E-T-H. By a company called UCI out of Douglas, Georgia. Does great on sealing those connections on the antenna and the antenna wire.
Jim in Chattanooga, Chat 84, WRKK 629. Check me in and out. Thank you.
Okay, Chattanooga 84, Jim in Chattanooga. There was a double in there, and I'm not sure if that was someone trying to check in. I also heard someone making a comment about, I believe they were calling it nuke tape. Audio was very low, so it was kind of hard to hear that, but part of your transmission was covered up with a double. So let's see if we have a check-in out there first, and then I'd like to hear more about this nuke tape. So stand by with the nuke tape. Let's see if there's a check-in there first. Okay, Chris, I've got you in the log as in and out. I think there was still a double in there. So station other than Chris, if you would please come in with your check-in. Okay. All right, Chris, I've got you in here. I didn't catch your tactical unit number or your city, so if you don't mind coming back with that. There's a strange warble noise that I hear with your signal that I thought was maybe a double, but it's making your audio very, very low. So if you could please speak up nice and loud with your tactical unit number and your city, please.
No problem, Justin. Thanks. Chris, WRFX 638, Atlanta 360, Atlanta in the city. And hopefully you can hear this and clear it out. Thanks.
That was perfect that time. I'm not sure why the prior two transmissions I could hear some sort of a warbly noise, UFO kind of sounding stuff, but I got you perfectly that time. Atlanta 360, Chris in the city of Atlanta, and I've got you in the log as in and out. Thank you for that check-in, Chris. It's great to hear from you, and glad to know that you're out there monitoring with us. So looking forward to that. Okay, and station that was talking about the nuke tape, if you would please come on with your comment, and then we'll go back to Noonan 25 for his remarks.
Yeah, Noonan 45, DJ. My son gave me something called nuke tape, N-U-K-E-T-A-P-E. It's by United Controls International in Tucker, Georgia. And this stuff is fantastic. I use it on all my connections.
No, okay. I'm looking at nuclear-grade duct tape on the Google machine here. If that is what you're talking about, that looks like that would be some pretty powerful stuff. But there's also a product here that's called Nuke Tape, N-U-K-E-T-A-P-E, and that looks like that's probably more along the lines of what you're talking about. It looks like it's a very similar to that F4 product that I was using. Okay, so definitely worth taking a look at Google for nuke tape. I think that's directed to Atlanta 26 Flip in Druid Hills for helping him with his antenna issues. So with that, I'm going to go back to Noonan 25, Joe in Fayetteville. And thank you for checking in with us this evening, Joe. It's great to hear from you. Can you tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know?
Okay, good evening, everybody. Joe here. Thanks for taking the late check-in. This was another night of multiple Zoom meetings. Most of them radio-related, but this is the most fun meeting. The others were almost too much work. Okay, this will raise some eyebrows. And
I've once, for charity, walked a mile around the Fayetteville Square in 5-inch stiletto heels and a tutu. There's got to be a real man to do that. The local women's shelter did a fundraiser called Walk a Mile in Her Shoes, and they encouraged guys to participate, and I said, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And, yeah, how about that? Back to you, Justice. Noonan 25, WRCL 957.
Well, I have to say that I am impressed. One, that you did it, and two, that you talk about it. Because I don't know that I could accomplish either. So that's fantastic. Walk a mile in her shoes. So as a fundraiser, that's a worthy thing to do, and I suppose probably enlightening in terms of what it must feel like to walk in those heels. Because, man, I just imagine how bad my foot would cramp after 4 or 5 steps. So doing a full mile is an accomplishment. That's pretty cool, Joe.
I'll put a picture in, although it may scare away members, there's a picture. Mary Catherine did it with me, but it's unfortunate for that. So anyway. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks. Noonan 25, clear.
All right, Joe, and you sounded good on the McDonough repeater tonight, so appreciate that RF check-in. Next on my list, I have Noonan 29, Marty in Tyrone. Marty, can you tell us something about yourself we probably don't know?
Well, I'll tell you, that's going to be hard to beat the tutu and stilettos.
Yeah,
wow. That's a good one. That's almost makes me think of a time I was hosting a conference call, and one of my reports that was supposed to attend the conference call sent me a picture of himself. He was in Thailand, and he happened to be on a personal day off, and he says, I am riding an elephant. And he sends me a picture, and he's in fact riding an elephant, but he would not be at the meeting. I don't know if that's better than the tutu or not. As far as I'm concerned, one of the things a lot of people don't know about me is I do play 4 musical instruments and have been doing so since the early 70s, and continue to do so to this day, even though I can't honestly say, let me reset, I can't honestly say I ever made a fantastic living at it, but in the early 80s, I'm pretty sure you probably heard me doing things like Starburst fruit juice commercials and little 30-second spots, Toyota commercials. When I lived in the California area, I was doing some of the studio work and aspiring to do that, and wasn't getting enough work, so I wound up doing other stuff, and that's another long story I won't go into, but long-time musician from many, many years back, and the radio hobby just kind of falls right into that as well, and so does the events and emergency services and everything else that we do partake in. That's my story from Noonan 29. Back to that.
Very, very interesting. Yes, and you're right that the music industry, the technical and electronic background that follows that industry does serve well with the radio hobby. Many people know, and some probably don't know, that Joe Walsh is a ham from the band the Eagles, and also the James Gang, and his own name of records that he's done under his own name, and also Bob Heil is also from the music industry. Heil was an organ player in his youth, and at some point along the way, he stumbled across some very large theater speakers, and he acquired those speakers and used those carry around and set up for bands to play. So he was one of the pioneers in setting up a touring sound system and portable PA for rock bands to play through. So and of course Bob Heil is a famous ham. So the music industry and the radio industry go a long way back, hand in hand, and it's fascinating stuff. That's very cool, Marty. Starburst and Toyota and other things we've probably heard you play. That's very cool. Thank you for that, Marty. I'm going to move on next to Atlanta 911. Cassandra in Woodstock. Cassandra, can you tell us something about yourself that we probably don't know?
Good evening, Justin and everybody. I'm because you've got some really creative and interesting people here, and I feel a bit boring. And we all know I'm not boring. But I guess the only thing I can come up with short notice is I lived in Germany for 3 years as a child. My dad was in there with the military. And yesterday was Remembrance Day for the Holocaust. And at 8 years old, my mother took me to the Dachau concentration camp outside of Munich. We also went up to the Eagle's Nest and driving around and looking for this giant Eagle's Nest. It was before, because I was 8 years old. And but my mother very vividly walked me through the concentration camp and explained to me what happened there. So that's always kind of resonated with me as a child and as an adult. It's very, very life-changing to go through and visualize the things that happen. So that's about all I can come up with. Too many other things you guys already know, or at least some people know. But back to the net.
Okay, 3 years in Germany. And yeah, you know, that's a part of history that so many people want to, you know, ignore or delete, cancel, I guess is the word that I want to use. And, you know, that's unfortunate because, you know, our past is our past and history is history, and to disregard it in the way that so many people today choose to and disrespect it, and you know, that's just really, it's heartbreaking in so many ways, because people have died to get us to the place where we are, and I think it's a good place overall. Sure, we've got some problems, and sure there are things that need to be addressed and corrected, but it's a challenging subject, and it can be really tough, especially in terms of things like the Holocaust, for the culture today to really not get what happened in those days. And I would imagine, I mean, it's just a monumental thing for me when I think about what took place in